Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you with us. Glad that it's Friday. Happy to be with the fam. It is time for us to jump in and talk about a very important topic: focus. Focus. It is always the thing that we focus on Fridays, is the importance of focus, how we can use focus as a tool, why it's even something that we're concerned about. What's all the focus about on the word focus? So we'll talk about that today. I've got my bros with me, Jay and Brian. They will bring their perspective. I am definitely looking forward to seeing your comments and having this time enriched by your thoughts as well, because we're a collective and we get as much from you guys as you get from us. Conchita is already on the scene and she says, fabulous Friday, everyone. It's going to be another amazing day. I concur. Why is it going to be an amazing day? Because we have set our intention for that to be the type of day that we have, and we're focused on what will make it just that. So it all begins, like everything else, within the mind. And so I love that Conchita brings the amazing into the space every single day. When she's here, she's bringing amazing with her. And it's a choice. Is everything at all times amazing? Not necessarily so. Because we're wrapped in flesh, we're humans, life is lifing, things are happening, but we can choose to focus on what is going to enrich us, what we can learn from our situations, what can make us better. Or we can choose to focus on how bad something feels, how emotionally spent we are. You know, every one of us, because we're human, because there's so much going on external to us, as well as the things that are going on the inside. At any point in time, we can make the decision to allow the things that are most difficult to get the most of our attention. And sometimes we do. We're never going to get it right all the time. But when you feel yourself getting heavy, when you feel yourself getting low, when you feel the frustration and those negative emotions boiling up, just stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I focused on? Am I focused on what I'm grateful for? Am I focused on the blessings in my life? Am I focused on those who support me? You know, have you ever had a party and you were so excited about this party and you invited lots of friends, but only a handful of them showed up? You could still have the best party ever if you focused and enjoyed the people that are there. Or you could have a miserable situation because you're focused on the ones that didn't show up. Absolutely your choice. And we forget that. Are our emotions going to be peaked, especially if there was that special person, someone you were really looking forward to seeing and they're not there? There will be a moment where you would feel that, you would notice that they're not there. And in that moment, you have a decision to make. Am I going to be grateful for the guest that showed up? Am I going to be grateful for the fact that I've got something to celebrate? Am I going to be grateful for the food, the decorations, the whatever the environment is that's been created for the celebration? Am I going to focus on that and enjoy it? Or am I going to be really bothered by the fact that certain people didn't come and give all of my attention to that? Now I'm not being grateful for my friends that did show up. I'm not allowing myself to be fully present and in the moment and receive what is there for me, because I'm not there. I am somewhere else wondering where everybody else is. It's a choice. And I use a really simple, basic scenario because it's something that it's easy for us to relate to, but it's no different in the big things in our life too. It may be a little bit harder to make that mental shift because sometimes what's happening to us is so absolutely overwhelming. And when you hear me speaking about things basically like that, I'm never saying don't feel your feelings. Your feelings are important. Your feelings are valid. We have to, they are signals. We talked about this yesterday, I think it was, or maybe the day before. They signal us that something's out of balance or something requires our attention. So by all means, don't ignore them. Don't pretend that they're not there. What I'm saying is do not give them the keys to the car. Do not put them in the driver's seat and allow your emotions to unfold and decide how that experience is going to be. Yes, I wish my dad would have come. That's really sad that he didn't show up for my birthday. That's real. It happens on a regular basis for people. And of course you're going to be disappointed. But in that moment, you have a decision to make. My mom's here. My siblings are here. My friends from school are here. Whatever. And I choose to enjoy them. I choose to tap into the present moment and what's going on and make the most of that instead of being swept away by my emotions and losing twice. I've lost once because the thing I was really looking for didn't show up, right? It's not there. And now I'm going to lose again because I'm not allowing myself to experience what is there and who is there to support me and help celebrate whatever it is that I have going on. So, basic example that we can apply to anything that's going on in our lives now or in the future. It's all about remembering that you have a choice. When it feels like things are out of your control, it's because you're trying to control the external. You're trying to control that person that you want to be there that isn't. You can't control that. They're going to do what they're going to do. Your control lies within you, how you process it, how you allow it to affect you, what you decide to do in that moment. Do you let the ruin of that situation get bigger? Or do you go, you know what? Would have been great for everybody else to be here, but I'm sure I'm going to have a good time with those who are. And now you're ready to celebrate, to be present, and to enjoy the moment, whatever that moment is. So there you go. We've got a few folks who have joined us and who are already leaving comments. So Amelia, welcome. Blessed Friday to you all. And good morning, top of the morning to all in attendance. And dear host, same to you, Dr. Gwendolyn. I have not seen you in quite a while, so it is awesome to have you in the room. She says, good morning. I'm awake and intentionally aware of my emotions. I love it. I love it. There's our good friend Sonia, my sister from another mister. Good morning, fam 5. And then there's Kim. I'm so glad Kim is back in the house. Also one of our biggest supporters. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are glad to see you guys. Let me check one more place. I think we are good. We have said hello half a day to our guests. So your mom will be proud, Jay. We won't be in the hot seat. And let's see. Let me share with you guys our quote for today. Where is it? Oh, there's my acrostic, but where's my quote? Did I lose it? I guess I did. Let me jump over here and get it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I am going to copy it so you guys can see it. So give me just a second. All right. There we go. Let me see. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. Mark Twain. What does that mean? When your attention, what you are giving your focus to determines how you see the world. It adjusts your lenses. Sometimes your lenses, if you think about it as your point of view as your glasses, the lenses that you are seeing the world through. Are your lenses clean? Or do you adjust, Jay? We want to make sure you're seeing us clearly. Adjust those lenses. What condition are your lenses in? Have you taken good care of them, or are they scratched? Maybe they just need a little cleaning. Maybe the prescription doesn't fit you anymore and it's time for a whole new pair. Or maybe they're crystal clear. And you, like Dr. Gwendolyn, you're aware of your emotions. You're making good decisions to be tapped in, to respond to those emotions, but not to let them take you down a path that you really wouldn't go if you had a good hold of yourself. Check your lenses, because if they're out of focus, you can't depend on what you see. You can't 100% know that what you're seeing or how you're processing what you're seeing is really what's going on. I'll give you an example. There was earlier in my social media days, I started on Facebook, and I was going live every day, 5 days a week, just like, just like now. And there was this one lady in particular, and she showed up every day. She gave me the best comments. She was always super supportive, and she would share my stuff to her page. That is a triple win. They're there on a regular basis. They give you good support, and they share your stuff out to their audience. So you end up getting more people that you're not connected with seeing your content and potentially following you as well. That's how you grow your presence on social media, right? So she was creme de la creme when it came to a follower in my social media space. One day, and back then I was definitely using, not only was I using a lot of quotes like you see me do today, but sometimes I would read articles, or I would read the night before, I may read an article, or if I was reading a book and something from that book really stood out, I would weave that into the share for the next day. And then I would go out of my way to make sure that I was referencing wherever it came from. I would create a comment with a link to the article, or, just like you see Mark Twain's, name there, making sure that that it was where the foundation of what I was coming from was acknowledged. And then I would put my own little, my own little spin on it, my point of view. And so I would always say, there's nothing new under the sun. There's it's a combination of the things that I'm taking in, and then I'm giving you my specific or unique point of view about that thing. And I would say it's important to me because I never want to steal other people's stuff. I never want to be guilty of pretending something that belonged to somebody else is mine. So if I know that I've been inspired by someone else's work, I always want to credit them. She heard me say that, and she thought that I was directing it at her because she shared my stuff. When you share someone's stuff, it has their name and profile and everything attached to it. So you don't have to even leave an additional comment if you don't want to. It's obvious that it's mine. That had never crossed my mind. But that's how she perceived what I said. And because of that, she said, she was like, I've gotten so much from you, and I really enjoy your content, but I just can't handle that negativity. So I'm not going to follow you anymore. She sent me a long DM. I replied back as soon as I saw it. No, that's not what I meant. I actually appreciate how much you share my stuff. I have no issue with it whatsoever. That was a general statement just around how I think about making sure that I manage the content that I use correctly, and I'm never taking credit for other people's stuff. That it had nothing to do with you. You were not even in my mind when I was doing it. You were one of my most active supporters, so I appreciate what you did. You do. Never replied back. I never saw her again. And at first it really nicked because I felt so bad. One, because I felt like I had made somebody feel bad. And two, something I said had been taken in a way that punctured her and caused me to lose, somebody who had been really, really supportive. So it was like a double loss, but only for a moment, because I had to step back and realize that it was the lenses that she was seeing the situation through that was the issue. there was nothing in what I said or even in how I said it that was pointed towards her in any way. But she received it that way. And there's absolutely nothing I could do about it. I would love for her to pop up again. I hope she's doing well. She was wonderful. She was very, very transparent. She was going through some stuff and she talked about those things. And she said it was helping. And so to know that the resource that was one of the resources that was helping her, she let go of because she thought a comment was directed towards her was unfortunate. But I don't have any bad feelings or anything like that for me or for her in that situation. It was just her lenses at that time. And because of what she saw and how she processed it, she responded or reacted accordingly. And there's just absolutely nothing that I could do. For a moment there, it was telling me, I need to be very careful about what I say and how I say it. And all of these things started to spin in my head. And if I had allowed that to take root, and if I had allowed that to grow, it would have completely adjusted how I show up. The authenticity would have been gone. The ability to really engage and connect and be spontaneous and respond to your comments in real time, all that would have been gone because I would have been so fearful that I would say something that would be taken the wrong way. If I live my life like that, my platform's dead before it even gets started. All I can control is my intention and to make sure that I'm prepared and that I'm not, bringing something that could be harmful for somebody. I'm not misrepresenting myself as a doctor or a psychologist or anything like that. I'm responsible for how I show up, but I'm not responsible for how you receive what I say. That's your gig. And there's nothing that I can do to really adjust your lenses. That's self-work. That's inner work. So I had to work on my own lenses in that moment because it allowed me to grow. There were times where I wanted to follow up with her more, check in, see if she wanted that, she would have left the door open. And there's no reason for this, virtual stranger to keep inserting myself in her life where she had gotten what she was going to get and she was moving on to something else. I had to let it go and get back to doing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And so we have situations like that all the time. There are people in my family that I absolutely know no matter what I say and no matter what I do, it's going to be filtered through a negative lens. So I could give you money. I could pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. I can help solve every problem that you bring to me. And you would wrap that all up in a bow that says, she thinks she's better than everybody. She thinks she knows this. She thinks she has all the answers. And I'm literally just responding to what it is you've asked me to do. But in being aware and knowing the relationship and the things that bounce back and forth between the two, I'm able to manage that better. I don't overextend myself in those situations because I know it's not going to be received well anyway. But I do have a responsibility to be responsive to what God asked me to do. So even when it's the family member or S's, plural, that I would probably rather not interact with on a regular basis, if there is an assignment for me, if there's something that I'm supposed to do, I'm still called to do it. What I'm not called to do is to be a doormat, right? I'm not called to be a punching bag. I'm not called to allow you to bring toxicity into my life. And so because I'm managing those two ends, I have a responsibility to do what it is that God's asked me to do. I focus on that. And because I know what you're going to give me back is not good for me, I put those two together and I set my boundaries and I determine how much of you I'm going to let into my space, and I fulfill the request or the commands that I get from above. You need to take care of this. You need to be responsive here. Doesn't mean I have to go and hang out. Doesn't mean I have to spend hours on the phone. Doesn't mean I have to do a lot of the things that I used to do. But I still have to be responsive to what it is that I'm supposed to do in the relationships that I'm in. How that's received is not my deal. I heard somebody say a long time ago, what you think about me is none of my business. And that just sounds so strange, but it's true because everyone has their lenses. Everyone has their own filter, and everything that you receive, everything that I receive, it is going to be filtered through that perspective, that lens, whether it's right or wrong, whether my lens is scratched, dirty, or crystal clear. I've got to do that assessment and then do the necessary work to adjust. As we evolve, just like our eyesight, as we evolve, we change. And we've had those glasses on our faces for so long that that's all we just bring them with us without any thought. But you will wake up one day and realize you're not seeing clearly because what you're seeing doesn't align with how you are now and where you've transformed to. That was a hard lesson for me to learn. There are trigger things that you've had this experience multiple times and this is how you respond to it. Even though you know better now, if you allow yourself to just be on autopilot, that old default way of responding will show right back up. It's time not to just clean your lens, but you have to get a new pair of glasses that are adjusted for how you see right now and fit where you're going and who you have become. Not that you can't see through the eyes of the old you. You've moved on. You're no longer that person. So adjust your lenses accordingly so that what you focus on, what you actually see, is accurate because you can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. All right, we've had quite a few comments come in, and then we'll check in with Brian and see how he's doing and what he wants to share. And then, Jay, we'll let you close it up after that. Let's see. Conchita says there's a saying which I always remember in adverse circumstances: when you focus on the good gets better. Ooh, I like that. When you focus on the good gets better. Absolutely. Uh, oh, she says your hair looks beautiful, Terry. My hubby called and I missed the part of what happened with her darn hubbies. LOL. I imagine she did not like something you posted. Yeah, it was actually a live, and I was talking about something, and she thought it was pointed at her, so she got really upset and stopped following me. Sonia says 100% facts. Conchita says, Cassandra, you are speaking truth to power today in all caps. So I'm glad it's resonating. It's Friday. I'm kind of relaxed. I've decided that we work from home on Fridays. So I've got a few meetings and then I'm going over to my daughter's house to get baby cuddles. The baby will be 3 weeks old tomorrow. So I'm going to spend the afternoon over there and hugging and loving on the baby in between meetings and things. So I'm excited and I'm in a great mood. And so it's good to know that my ramblings made sense, guys, because that's where my head is, just excited and ready to go and be with the baby and my daughter and her husband. So Brian, before I continue to rattle on too much, save me. Throw me a lifeline. What do you want to share?
It's Focus Friday, and I remember one of our first conversations about being focused, and it related to seeing that red convertible pull up off the lot, and every car you see after that is a red convertible, right? Which is why I say Grand Rising, right? Because I'm fixing that word in my mind. I'm fixing that frame of thought in my mind. Grand Rising, right, fam? Grand Rising, audience. I want everyone to associate that way of thinking with waking up at the beginning of the day, right? It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be on this side of the grass. That frame of mind is what you get out of life, the way that you think. That's why you have to focus. We become our thoughts. You get what you focus on. Those are all true statements. And I remember you saying that about that convertible. And that was one of the first conversations that I remember you having. And I was like, wow, man, she's hitting it. That's it. That's I was just thinking it 2 days ago when I heard that conversation from that speech from you. I was like, wow, I was thinking about this car, and I'm still thinking about this car, and now I see this car pulling out. Literally, I was thinking about the new Escalade. And all of a sudden, guess what pulls up in front of me? A new Escalade, right? Because I had been thinking about it, because I had been focused on it. And I had to catch myself because I'm like, I'm not getting ready to buy a new Escalade. Why am I thinking about a new Escalade? Let me change my frame of thought, right? And put it on the thing I need to be doing so that I attract that thing. That was an epiphany, right, of how powerful our thoughts are. Because the moment I changed it, I didn't see any more Escalades, right? If you want a better life, if you want a stronger family, if you want a better interaction at work, whatever that thing is that you want, if you want more money, if you want this big business, put your mind on what it is that you want. Focus on what you want, not things that you don't want. I used to have a mentee, and when he was younger, he would always say, "We don't have this, and we can't do it because of that." And I'm like, "Look, let me stop you right there. Let's not focus on the things we don't have. To get this done, let's focus on what we do have, and those thoughts will attract everything that we need in order to get this done. We've got everything. Now, whether it's in our possession or not, that's irrelevant. You have the thoughts. That was the old G.I. Joe saying, thinking is half the battle. Thinking is half the battle. Once you think yourself into it, you can think yourself through it. Focus. Focus on what it is that you want.
Love it, love it, love it. Once you think yourself into it, you can think yourself through it. I love it, and it's true. And the thing about the Escalade that Brian was talking about, I don't want anybody to think we're woohoo. He's magically creating Escalades or making Escalades disappear. No, the Escalade was there because he was focused on it. He saw it. There were other cars there too, but he didn't notice them. He noticed the one that was in focus, right? And so there's good things happening around you. There's difficult things that are happening around you. The reason focus makes the good better is because that's what you see, and you're going to expand and see even more of that. And the inverse is true as well. If all you allow yourself to experience is the difficulties, they get bigger and bigger. They have more impact and they weigh you down. It's the exact same situation, but it can get heavier and bigger because you're providing it fuel. You're nourishing it. You're giving it all of your energy, your time, your attention, your focus. So if you take those resources and apply them to the things that are working well in your life, you'll see more of that. Your circumstance hasn't quite changed yet, but what has changed is how you're processing and what you're focusing on within that circumstance. And so that is going to give you the fuel you need to do that thinking that Brian was just talking about. How well do you think when you're depressed? How well do you think when you're sad? When those heavy emotions are bogging you down? You're just drowning in those emotions. It's hard to think. But if you take the time to shift your focus and start to be, I'm grateful for this. Thank God I have that. These people are in my life. Even when we talk about these in relationships. You want to don't win the battle and lose the war. Get so locked up in a fight with somebody that you care about, and go so low below the belt to win the fight, that you end up losing the relationship. So focus on the relationship, not so much on the disagreement. The disagreement can be worked through. You can think your way through it. You can love your way through it. You can communicate through it if your focus is right. When your focus is off and that lens is dirty, you forget that the other person on the other end of that conversation is someone that's important to you, and you are dug in and you're doing and saying what you need to do to win that fight. And now you've punctured the relationship and the individual on the other end so much. You've got your victory in your hand. Yay. I outfought him. I was more strategic. I got my point across. And now you and your point are standing there all alone because you burned a relationship that meant something to you. That's why it's so important for us to take a breath, take a beat, step back, allow ourselves to think so that we can get into a state of being responsive versus being reactionary. It's important. Tiffany, I see that you've joined us there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. While Brian was talking, I remembered that I also have an acrostic for you guys that I wanted to share for the word focus. Fulfilling objectives creates ultimate success. There's action in there. When you're fulfilling, that means you're actually doing the work. You're not just thinking about it. There's clarity in there. You have goals, right? That you're trying to meet, and you're doing the work in order to meet them. And as a result of that, eventually, ultimately, you get to that place of success. You meet the goal, you accomplish it, right? And there's a process. It's ultimate success. It's not immediate success. And we have to remember in our good doings to not grow weary, not to get upset. I've been working so hard on this and it hasn't happened yet. Well, you're in the process of it happening. Keep doing the right things. We've talked about those 4 P's. You start out with prune. You've got to get rid of the things that no longer serve you. If those glasses are bad, toss them out. And then you prepare. Now you've got to replace those bad habits, those bad thoughts, that bad lens with things that are going to serve you. Get your new prescription. Make sure your glasses are clear. And then you're in that hard stage. That's this ultimate success, not immediate success. That's the pace period where you're taking that new learning and you're integrating in that in your life so that those skills become your default behavior, so that you're able to manage when the ultimate happens, that ultimate success, that propel stage, when you get propelled towards your goals and you actually start to see the fruit of your labor. You actually start to accomplish the things that you set out for yourself. First you prune, then you prepare, you go through your pace period, and that leads to you being propelled to and sometimes beyond what it is that you were working for. But it's ultimate success, not necessarily immediate success. Fulfilling objectives creates ultimate success. I see a few more comments have come in, Jay. I'm going to take a look at those and share them, and then we'll be over to you. Sean Michael is back. He said, good morning, Cassandra, Jay, and all. Conchita says, love the perspective, Brian, on grand rising versus good morning. Words matter, and morning brings to mind the other morning with a U. And we said, are we sad about starting the day, or is it glad? So no, it's grand. Just thinking out loud. That's exactly it. You received the message in its entirety, Conchita. You summed it up in that. Brian talks about a book he read a long time ago. What is it of the something of the universe? The
textbook of the universe.
The textbook. That's it. The textbook of the universe. And I think in that one there's a lot of. I haven't read it yet, but from what I've heard from Brian, there's a lot of teaching about the importance of language. And he specifically does not say good morning because he is not starting his day from a perspective of mourning. He's not sad. He's not losing. He's having a grand rising. So you got it. That's exactly why he says it the way that he says it, because of the power of the tongue, because words are so important. And when we speak, we are creating the environment that we're in, consistently in creation all the time. So those words absolutely matter. Conchita says, oh my Cassandra, that's another t-shirt acrostic. Love it. I thought that was you. I told Brian yesterday, remind me in the comments or maybe DM me later, Conchita, because there was a t-shirt that I was going to make out of a previous acrostic. And I was talking to Brian about that yesterday, and I could not remember which one it is. So if you remember, let me know. And I'll have to show you this one. Let me see if I can stand up a little bit. This is one I made a long time ago. It's got manifest in the middle. And then it's just a word bubble with all these positive words that help you manifest the things that you really desire, believe, spiritual journey, clarity, focus, deserving, power words about yourself, power words about your ability to create the life that you live. So I have a thing about t-shirts. So I feel like I found my t-shirt sister in Conchita because she mentions that all the time. So yes, remind me of what that other one was, and I'll see if I can't get that done. And Shawn Michaels said, just saw this quote today. Every day is a gift, even if it sucks. Sherry Hockman. It is. I mean, it's the gift that we all want, right? We haven't opened it up. We don't necessarily know what's inside, how it's going to unfold. So maybe what's in it is not exactly what we would have packed for ourselves, right? It may not be exactly what we want, but we certainly don't want the opposite, to not get that gift at all. That's the next realm that some of us may be ready for, some of us not so much. I would like to be around. I would like to go and hug on my grandbabies today. There's things that I would like to do. So even when I open that gift and it doesn't have inside exactly what I would have bought for myself, the fact that I have the gift is enough. Life is a gift in and of itself, regardless of how it's unfolding in this moment, because that is temporary. How it's unfolding right now could shift with the wind. It's temporary, but we treat some our situations, especially the difficult ones, like they're forever. Like that is just how it's going to be. And so, in shifting our thinking and shifting our focus, we can take a gift that sucks, realize that the fact that it's a gift in and of itself means it doesn't suck, and completely change how we receive and think about that gift. I love that quote. I could play with that one for a while, Shawn Michael. Thank you for sharing that. Conchita said, I bought the book due to Brian. Thanks for sharing. There you go. So there's two. Conchita bought the textbook of the universe, thanks to you, Brian. And I think I was telling you yesterday that Sonia got the other one, 3 Feet from Gold. So keep sharing the things, because I know you're an avid reader. The listeners are listening, and they are having the opportunity to read those things as well and see how they resonate with them. So that's goodness. Thanks to both of you ladies for sharing your experiences. I'd love to hear as you guys read. Drop in the comments or DM us and tell us your perspective on the books as you work your way through them. All right, Jay, I'm going to give it over to you. You two know that I've got a meeting at the top of the hour. So if my camera and mic may go off in a little bit so I can set that meeting up, but you guys are in great hands with Brian and Jay, and they will wrap today's call up since I was so long-winded and took up most of the time. Sorry, Jay, over to you.
No worries. It's the Cassandra Terry Morning Show, so yeah, you have every right. Uh, and I appreciate what you were talking about. When I well, when I heard it, I I immediately thought of something that I heard recently, and it's this: if you just took all that time and energy that you focused on a negative outcome of what you were thinking about, and yet applied it to something that you thought may have come out positive in that way instead of the negative, you would have used that same energy in a much more efficient way, in a much more positive way. Do you understand? I'm using the same energy that it took to say, oh man, this is going to be negative. This is going to come out wrong. I'm going to mess this up. It's not going to be a good thing. The product's not going to be great. The service isn't going to be good. All of that. And you could have used it for your positive outcome or positive outlook instead. So take the energy that you would have used to say, "Oh man, this is going to be bad. This is going to suck. I'm going to have a bad day." Focus on that new Escalade that Brian was talking about, and you'll find it, right? If that's what you want. Or focus on the things that you really need or really want in your life, and those things will come. You know, don't expend all that energy on the negativity. Don't waste that energy on the negativity. Focus that energy on the positivity, on what positive outcomes could come from whatever it is that you're focusing on. So that's my thought on that. But to wrap up today, I always go to scripture, and I'm looking at Luke chapter 9, verse 62. So Jesus said to him, "No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." That sounds kind of harsh, doesn't it? But really, it emphasizes the uncompromising nature of discipleship and our faith. What Jesus is doing is he's highlighting that following him requires really your undivided attention and dedication. And for believers, it really underscores the seriousness of the commitment and the need to prioritize the kingdom of God above all else, really. So when you really look at it, the verse serves as a reminder that the Christian journey demands wholehearted devotion, that focused commitment, and it urges believers to really keep their eyes fixed on the path ahead rather than dwelling on past distractions or uncertainties or negative things in the past, really. And if you take that to your just day-to-day living, your secular life, right? If we continue to focus on the things that are negative and things that are in our past, we're not going to see what's ahead, right? Now, if you've ever worked on a farm or if you've ever worked on a tractor or if you've ever been in a vehicle, and most of us have, right? If you turn around and you're moving in the direction that you want to go and you turn right back around, you never know what's going to be in front of you in that few seconds, right? I live in the South, and if you go some down some back roads at night, right, you got to be focused. You got to make sure those headlights are where they need to be, and your head is this way because all kinds of critters can come out, especially deer. And that's, that can be scary for some folks, right? But if you're not focused on the road ahead, you're going to be in some trouble. And that's the physicality of it. Um, but really, if you look at it from the perspective of your life and what needs to happen, you can't keep looking behind you and thinking about all the things that could have been or all the things that were and they were bad. Then how can you enjoy the success and the positivity that's ahead of you? You can't. Don't expend all that energy. Don't waste all that energy on the past. Don't waste all your energy on the negative. Continue to follow in the footsteps of Jesus and him looking forward. And I think that's pretty much where I am in my thoughts about the quote. You really can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. That's Mark Twain. And I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna say something about imagination, and it's gonna be a dad joke, so bear with me. Um, what's the most powerful nation in the world? Your imagination. And if you allow your imagination to be out of focus, right, that power is left out in the open. Take back the power. Focus. Before we go, um, we'll talk. we'll say what's out there here in the comments. So Sean Michael says, Jay, where focus goes, energy flows. That's a good one. Um, he also says, let the mirror, the past, be your rudder and not your anchor. Oh, I like that one. And you're coming up with good ones. I'm gonna have to make shirts out of these. Are they shirts already? Sorry. Conchita, she says Luke chapter 9, verse 62 is perfect example of Jesus' command to focus. Read a commentary or read a commentary to your summary, Jay. Jesus wants the man to look straight ahead and leave his old life behind. Right. And that's transformation, right? Where you were is not where you are. It's not where you want to be. And in all of that is transformation. And we do this every day, Tuesday to Friday. Next Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday. It's a good segue. Thank you, Conchita, for that. We do this 7:15 a.m. all the time, Tuesday to Friday. The Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We come, we talk about mindset, and we talk about how we can better impact our lives in a positive way and the lives of others. And we really hope you could join us. Before we leave, I'm going to throw it back to Brian. You know, there's going to be a challenge out there, the I Want to Soar challenge, and that's what we're going to be doing in 2024 with the help of the mindset queen, Cassandra Terry. We're going to soar in 2024. Brian, I'm going to throw it to you for just a little bit if you've got some time to tell us a little bit about the challenge.
I've always got time to talk about soaring, right? Strengths and overcoming obstacles, right? This soar challenge in 2024 is the culmination of over a decade of the work that Cassandra has been putting together to not just encourage other people, but Cassandra actually uses these methods, strategies, and models in her everyday life. If she was on right now, she'd tell you, right? It's a battle that we all have to endure every single day, right? So you have to have a system in place so that you can thwart these attacks, so that you can respond appropriately, so that you can focus on the things that you want and not things that you don't want. There's accountability sessions that are taking place in the challenge. There are just man dozens of deliverables that she's been giving out across her social feed in ramping up for the challenge. So in 2024, it's time to soar. Join iwanttosoar.com and let's make 2024 your best year ever.
All right. Thank you, Brian. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today again for the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra is pulling double duty at this time. She is working from home.
Oh, hey, hold on. I forgot one thing. Let me add
Yeah,
this in.
yeah,
So
sure.
there's also a 12 question self analysis that you can take. It takes like 30 seconds to take the analysis, get your results, see what phase you are in your journey as you prepare to soar. And there's also a 15-minute call with Cassandra where she'll go over the results and give you some inside tips on how you can soar in 2024. I just wanted to throw that in there, Jay.
That's right. So I'm looking forward to it myself. I took the assessment. That's at iwantasoar.com. Make sure you go take that assessment and figure out what's going on and maybe get some help as well to if you don't know where you're headed. Mindset Queen Cassandra Terry again is going to be able to help you with that. And with that, folks, it is the end of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show today on Focus Friday. Again, we do this Tuesday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. Central Time in the United States. And we just like to say good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And thanks again for joining us. We are out. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.